Let's make a beat map, according to wikiHow. How to make a good beat map. Author info. wikiHow is a wiki, similar to Wikipedia, which means that many of our articles are co-written by multiple authors, so we don't know who the author is. A beat map is a crucial aspect of a rhythm game, as it consists of all the objects that need to be hit in time to the song. Making a good beat map has multiple parts: timing, mapping, and finally, testing. Steps. 1. Have a basic understanding of music theory. You need this to understand the design choices made with each song. You will want to understand the basic structure of a typical song. 2. Choose a song. Okay, for rhythm games, there are many songs that you can select. A good song for rhythm games has clearly recognizable beats, patterns, and rhythm. For example, EDM tends to be popular as it allows for interesting patterns and rhythms in a song. Okay, fair use stuff. Alright, so I need to pick a song. Let me just get Osu open and let's choose something. Let's go with Teo. Oh, they don't accept wave file types. Step 3. Make sure your rhythm game client is mostly complete. At this stage, you should have already decided on the basic rhythm game mechanism. You will also need to determine the length of a song as well as have a mechanism for playing music in your game. You don't say. Part 1. Timing your beat map. Listen to the song. You need to listen to an audio recording of the song in order for you to time it accurately. Use a program like Audacity to see the precise timestamp of the song, as you will need it for most accurate timing. But didn't just the previous step say that you need to have a client that's mostly complete and is able to play music? So imagine right now the person is coding a game that is able to play music but does not have timestamps. Part 2. Mark the first beat. The first beat in your music is where your song starts and where you will need to begin timing and mapping your song. Note the timestamp. Use an Excel or Google spreadsheet. Okay, I've got my spreadsheet open. What was I supposed to do? Mark the first beat. Well, it starts basically immediately, so beats timestamp. Wait, what does beats mean? What is 0, 0.25, 0.57? Unless if you have a program that can make beat maps. Wait, why is this person trying to chart without a level editor? Huh? This is a guide for like people who want to map for community run games, or they're trying to map for their own games that they're making, and in their own game that they're visualizing right now is able to play music, has a mostly complete level editor, and yet is not able to make beat maps. You may also want to include quarter beats, as some music heavily utilizes 8th and 16th notes. Fill the beats column with 0, 0.5, 0.5, 0.75, etc. Wait, so what does the beats row mean? I think that the first beat was at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Wait, no, that's timestamps. What are the beats for? I don't know what this means. Okay, you know what? Maybe it just means that I failed the very first step. I don't have any understanding of music theory. Count the number of beats per minute. You can use a metronome or you can use a BPM counter to help with this task. Once you've determined the BPM, you can use this to calculate how often a beat needs to occur every second for each note to land on the correct beat. You can use dimensional... Oh my god, what is happening? What is this spreadsheet thing? Okay, let's see. This sounds completely off. I think the offset should start right at 0. Oh my god, I'm not even looking at the guide right now. It's off. I actually don't know what a BPM of the song is. Okay, what is the BPM? It's actually 96 BPM. Why does it sound wrong to my ears? Okay, so we got a BPM right. I don't think we got offset right though. Alright, let's continue reading this. Determine the time signature. Different music has different time signatures. Some commonly used time signatures include 4/4 and 3/4. Other commonly used time signatures include 2/4 and 5/4. For a 4/4 song, highlight each fourth cell in the table, including the 0 cell. But what are the beats? How do you do this? Okay, I think I've gotten each beat's timestamp down. I just spent 5 minutes doing this, and I still don't know what to use it for. I don't think this is how it works when you're making your own game. You try to get a level editor with all the basic stuff already done out so you don't need to do this. Step 5. Watch for time signature and BPM changes. Some popular rhythm game songs, such as Leaf's Elf Zero, has multiple BPM changes. At some point in the song, the BPM increases and the song gets faster. When this happens, you will need to record the timestamp at which this occurs and the new BPM. Restart the beats column to 0 and recalculate the distance between beats using the formula above. Oh my god, mapping without a level editor looks really hard! Step 6. Check your timing. If using a level editor, you can do so easily by going into the beginning of the song and watching both timeline ticks and the built-in metronome. If not, then in your IDE, place a hit object on every top beat. Okay, wait, I'm gonna... Maybe they'll reply later. Part 2. Making your beat map. Create a few extra columns. This is where you will lay out the hit objects before you place them on the beat map. If you're using a level editor, you can skip this step. Tips: if coding from scratch, it is always good practice to have a mock-up of your beat map design before you start coding your beat map. Before you code your beat map, you should have a design that is intuitive and checked by your coworkers, friends, and family. Wait, how will you make a mop-up? Animating it by yourself on Premiere? Drawing on a piece of paper? Step 2. Allocate different symbols to different hit objects on your spreadsheet. For example, you could allocate X to click notes, O for hold notes, greater than and less than for drag notes, and less than greater than for flick notes, or you can use different symbols depending on the rhythm game. But... Huh? Okay. Okay. Step 3. Place hit objects where you hear different notes in the object. A rhythm game is supposed to test a player's ability to listen to music cues to hit objects. Placing hit objects where there are no notes undermines that end goal. Okay, this is the actually first good advice here that every mapper should hear. Step 4. Use different types of hit objects for different types of notes in the music. For example, it may be more appropriate to use a held object or a slider for a note held for longer, like a half note or a whole note, than use a click note. Step 5. Use patterns to visually represent the melody. For example, in a scrolling style... Wait, what is this pattern? How would you hit... This looks like something out of 2007. What is that approach rate? How would it play? I need to test this. That is a pattern. Step 6. Think about the mechanics of a rhythm game as a whole. Also, a rhythm game optimized for mouse and keyboard. Mouse and... fair. Does not have notes spaced terribly apart. Wait, am I actually reading this correctly? Does not have notes spaced terribly apart. Okay! Sightless, on the other hand, sometimes plays notes in a two-lane fashion and is meant to be played with more than one finger. Step 7. Avoid breaking your rhythm game. The goal of a rhythm game is to test a player's ability to listen to music cues to hit objects, not for you to break it. If you break your rhythm game on purpose, it is no longer a game as it is a chaotic scramble of notes. For a community-driven rhythm game like Osu, consider how ranked maps differ from some unranked maps. Maps that are ranked are both fun to play and do not violate the rules of the rhythm game. No, it's not that they don't. This is like advice that you would give to someone who is thinking of starting to map and has no idea about anything about Osu. I don't think I actually need to explain how this is kinda not right. I mean, they literally gave Elf Zero as an example of a song earlier, and the entire point of that song being charted on Osu, mapped on Osu, is to break the game. And just because a map isn't ranked doesn't mean that it destroys the game. It just means that it didn't meet the ranking criteria of Osu, not that it broke Osu and violates the game as a whole. Step 8. Adjust approach rate as necessary. I thought that usually you will adjust the approach rate like right before you start mapping on Osu, but I guess it makes sense. No, you know what? It doesn't make sense. Honestly, this step should have been step 1. Step 9. Start coding. After you get the right patterns in your Excel spreadsheet, you can transcribe it into your rhythm game client. You may want to create a separate file for each beat map. Part 3. Testing your beat map. Step 1. Play the beat map yourself. If you are unable to play it, at least watch the objects on the screen as they appear and imagine another player playing it. A good beat map should be fun and possible to play. It does not have to be easy, but possible and playable. Nah, that's fair. Step 2. Ask others for feedback. Ask your co-workers, your friends, your fellow developers, or your rhythm game community. They will help identify potential playability concerns with a beat map, such as 2 notes in the same place. How will you miss 2 notes in the same place if you played it yourself first? Part 3. Revise and edit your beat maps as necessary. Make a few more difficulties for different experience levels. Think about your audience. Not everyone will be able to jackhammer their phone screen at first, so using different difficulty levels can help others improve gameplay. And then there's a bunch of suggestions. I don't know. This entire wikiHow article seems so bogged down. It tells you things and then it does not tell you things. And we're at the end of the wikiHow article and this is what I've done. What do you guys think of my first beat map?